Welcome to the Digital Marketing Insights podcast, brought to you by Brightside Digital.
Hi everyone, welcome to the show. I'm delighted to say we have Tevin with us today, who's a senior marketing executive. Tevin, how you doing, buddy?
Good, Tom. How are you? Happy
Yeah,
to be
very
here.
good, thank you. I'm delighted you're here. Tevin, I start off the show always by asking, can you tell our audience a little bit about yourself and your career today, please?
Yeah, so no problem at all. So as I was saying, as you said, I'm a senior marketing executive at the Royal College of Surgeons in Ireland, where I work in the Department of Surgical Affairs. So we deliver excellence in postgraduate surgical and emergency medicine training. We run the national training scheme for both surgery and EM, while also providing CPD and kind of postgraduate academic opportunities to our different cohorts in terms of medicine and surgery. And obviously we do other stuff as we have the URSSI University, and then as well we do stuff in terms of research, innovation, surgical trials, clinical programs, working with the HSE. So we do a mix, but it's all for the benefit of global health. So it's something that I'm proud of, and an organisation, an institution I'm proud of being involved in. And every day is a new day, but it has a global benefit to the world, and to patients everywhere. So, that's what I do,
Yeah,
In terms of my experience, like obviously, as I said, I'm a senior marketing executive, so I'm heavily involved in the campaigns we do in terms of our postgraduate scene, in terms of awareness, selling, conversion, and then from a lead gen, but also from a PR point of view, because as I was saying, we do so much good stuff and we have so many audiences in terms of internal, external stakeholders that myself and the team, we work on kind of the newsletters and the social media side of it as well, to kind of elevate the stories and elevate the things that we're doing from to a global scale, to kind of let people know the likes of our bi-weekly webinars, the likes of our our newsletters to junior doctors, NCHDs, surgical trainees and trainers. But then as well, the PR stories that we do, and we work closely with the comms team and other kind of departments within RCSI to get the message out of what we're doing from a surgical point of view in the department.
that's brilliant. Yeah, and I'll definitely touch on the webinars and the newsletters in
Yeah.
a second. But what would you see, looking at yourself for a second, as your main strength in digital? What's your go-to comfort zones in digital marketing?
I think with me, like it's a couple of things, but it's a niche in terms of having an integrated marketing approach. Like I always like to kind of take a step back and see. Obviously, we have the campaigns, we have what we do on the website, we have all the stuff we do in terms of analytics. We do the keyword research as well, and stuff that we're doing to implement and optimize our ads. But I like to take a step back and kind of see what's our goal, and then work backwards. So if our goal is lead gen, if our goal is to get people to read something, or is our goal to sell a course, what different things can we be doing to align to get to that goal? So the likes of awareness, if we need ads, if I need to talk to the team about the social media side, how does that link up to what we need to do on the website, and making sure the messaging and positioning that we use from an ad point of view is aligned with the website, and then that as well is aligned with the copy that we have in terms of the product as well, in terms of the research that we're doing, in terms of the analytics we're viewing, and working back. And it's not kind of continuous that this will lead to this and you can never look backwards, because everything is always changing in marketing. So if we feel win a campaign or win the website that something is just not clicking, or maybe lead gen is kind of down for a few weeks in a particular location, we'll look to optimize and go back and see, right guys, we can kind of do better in an awareness point of view or a middle of funnel, to make sure we're aligned. But from myself, I think from an integrated marketing point of view, I think that's where I stand, kind of looking at the individual cogs and saying, right, how are we going to get the goal, and not being too fixated at the one element, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. And in terms of, like, let's say we'll talk lead gen for a second.
Yeah.
Is that where the webinars come in to some extent, or do you use the lead gen information you have for the webinars? How do you go about, just as an example for our audience, your lead gen marketing, and what you think is getting good results at the moment, what platforms, and a little bit around that?
I think for us, like obviously when you talk about lead gen, obviously we need to be given something to get the lead, or they need to be interested. So take, for instance, one of our products, like one of our postgraduate academic programs. So we use lead gen in a different amount of ways. So for lead gen there, we could be talking about online information or careers evenings, where we're talking about postgraduate opportunities in surgery and medicine, where in terms of the academic programs, we could be getting like past or current students on the program, giving the insights in terms of what it is to be a student, what's the experience like, because you're selling the experience, you're selling the blue sky, the vision of what it's like to be on the program, rather than kind of a transactional point of view of apply now, pay this money, because that's not what we're about. But then as well, we're looking at kind of just continuing the journey, So as I said, from an integrated point of view, like from our awareness point of view, we'll tee up our awareness ads on Google or on Facebook or from a social site in a way where people will nurture them in terms of the information about the program, the value, the USPs, the modules, etc. And then that could work for the CPD. But then we'll transition it in a way that it'll be timely, that when we say in this event, it's not a surprise saying, oh God, they're doing the event. This is the first time I've heard about the program. But the way we market to our audiences, they'll already be nurtured in a way so well that when we do events, that the event will just fit timely. So it's all about timelines. So understanding our customers' timelines and then putting these niche events in when they're looking to buy. So the customer decision making journey is really important to us. So that's where we'd be aligning our events when they're looking to convert from awareness to kind of consideration to the conversion stage.
Brilliant. And so, like, let's just talk. Like, you don't have to give real
Yeah.
numbers, but let's just talk audience and splits and stuff like that. So, obviously, you're trying to attract future surgeons to come in and enroll and be educated to become fully fledged surgeons.
Yeah.
So, obviously, there would be probably two types of entry level people, which is your undergrads and postgrads, depending on your age range. So would your marketing be targeting, your 17, 18-year-olds, let's say, and then a second part would be the older demographic that are out of education that might be looking to change careers? Is that the obvious split, and then you have different marketing cycles for both of those?
Well, it really depends on the product that we're selling, because obviously, as I was saying, in terms of running the national postgraduate training scheme in surgery and emergency medicine, so when you're coming into undergraduate in terms of RCSI, doing medicine, physiotherapy or pharmacy, so you'll be around, 17, 18, then you'll do that for the 4 or 5 years, so you're already around 22, 23, and then with internship, you'll have to, it's a mandatory component in terms of HSE that you'll have to, all graduates will need to do an internship year in Ireland. So you're already around the age of 24 to 25, plus the factor that a lot of medical students, in a class of medical students, probably 10% or 15% would want a career in surgery. So it's really a needle in the haystack that we're looking for. So it's not a case where everybody's considering a career in surgery when they're in medicine. A lot of them will be going into the basic medical program, and then some of them will want to go to the surgical program. But it just depends where they are in the career. If they're first timers looking to get in and they want it because they all want to apply for the surgical training scheme, they may want to do academic programs to help them, like our MCH and surgical science or practice, or surgical skills and workshops, where they could be a bit younger. They could be just finished internship and they're looking for an postgraduate academic program to enhance their CV. But then as well, you're looking at the older audiences who haven't gotten to surgical training yet. They're working as kind of non-consultant health doctor in one of the hospitals in Ireland or abroad, and they're looking at a part-time master in surgery to help strengthen their application to get into this scheme. So it just depends where they are and what the product is. Obviously, for clinical skills and workshops and stuff like that, it might be helpful for someone junior to kind of start building their CV. So that's where we'd come in terms of our light touch marketing and our strategic marketing for those audiences. But for the older audiences who already have a kind of a strong career in medicine and they're looking to get into surgery, they're working. So the time, and even the times when we do the events, the time that we engage, the type of audiences who we engage, it's a bit different, So it really depends of the profile of the audience we're going for,
Yeah. And do you have a example of a campaign that you've done yourself, that you've been part of, that you're really proud of, or hit a level of success that you want to talk about?
Yeah, so I do. I think a few years ago, obviously with the academic programs and with marketing, I always say to the guys, you just need to make sure when we're doing stuff every kind of year, it's not kind of, it's not a rotation where it's we're the same thing we did last January is the same thing we're doing this January. So usually we kick off campaigns for each of the intakes. Let's say if we close in May, the previous kind of November, December, we'll kick off campaigns. And this is when we had 5 postgraduate academic programs in surgery and EM. So we'd have the ENT, the PG Cert in ENT, we'd have the MCH in Surgical Science and Practice, we'd have the Human Factors and Patient Safety Program, the MCH of Surgery by module, and then we'd have the Advanced Clinical Practice program, the part-time program. So what we were looking at, and we're kind of looking at the problem that we're having in terms of customer timelines, where but previously when we were going out kind of selling our academic programs, it didn't take the customer's timelines into consideration, where there wasn't a flow where it didn't go from awareness to lead gen to events to conversion ads in terms of apply now. There was no kind of awareness nurturing and then it went into conversion. It was really heavily reliant on apply now and kind of getting people to do a transaction. But the problem was during the timelines where we were able to see a majority of our applications for specific programs used to come in during springtime, so around March, April and May. But it was wrong for us to kind of kick off campaigns with a very transactional element in November, December, knowing that no applications would come in. So by having a chat with the guys and kind of I was thinking about how we get over this problem. And I was thinking really about the opportunity that we're trying to give to our audiences. So with each of these programs, obviously we've been tasked to kind of sell the programs and talk with the academics in terms of how best we can. But if you think about it and you take a step back, it's an opportunity that we're providing of a lifetime to people, to be the next wave of surgeons in the world, the next wave of doctors in the world, to publish surgical research, to publish to get involved in innovation, in medical technology. So that was the start of the opportunity campaign that we launched. So by talking to the guys and then talking to the academics as well, we agreed on launching the opportunity campaign, where each of our campaigns had imagery and kind of further information which highlight the opportunity that each of these programs provided in the long term. So whether it's providing an opportunity to get into surgical residency and surgery training, improve your competitiveness in surgery training program, or implement surgical research, or being involved in kind of medical technology enhancements. There was different types of opportunities that each of the programs had, and we used them cleverly with our ads and with our social media posts. But the crescendo in all of this, we set up a page which actually showed the opportunity. So we had a landing page called The Opportunity, where we had our academic programs there. We had course overview videos in terms of awareness, but we also had testimonials from current and past students. And we kind of labeled the opportunity taken, if you get what I mean. So it was a smart kind of spin. But by doing all of this, this was all generated for lead gen, and it was very smartly done because they weren't in it. They weren't in ready to convert in terms of making a transaction, because we only launched campaigns. We only launched the campaigns. But for the first 3 months, what we did, we focused everything to awareness and lead gen, and built a story about the opportunity of why you should do these programs and the impact you can have on global health. And by doing that, we were able to generate, over during the same timeline, probably over 300% in terms of leads. And then for one in particular, especially the MCH in Surgical Science and Practice, I think it was like 450. And these are leads coming from the four corners of the world, So that's kind of that's where I kind of see myself, and I kind of see where marketing is going. It's getting less transactional. It's more about the experience when you're showing ads, because you can see now with Facebook, the likes of Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, it's just inundated with ads, and the clutter, it's just so much clutter. And you really need to find a way to kind of see, okay, right, we know our audience is, we're very skilled on ads, but how do you break through? How do we talk to our audience? Because realistically, when somebody's looking at your ads, it's really down to, 2 to 5 seconds. I know there was research done, but how do you grab their attention in a way, that gets them to go to the next stage? And that's all we're trying to do. We're not trying to get them to buy from an ad. We're trying to get them to the next stage of their journey. So if we can go from the ad to the landing page, get their leads, get them on the CRM, engage with them further, that's from the benefit. And I think that creates a better seamless customer journey for the audiences we're targeting.
Yeah, fair play, Tevin, because I actually think the almost the career ladder is what I would probably define it as, but that
Yeah,
opportunity section is such a good way of giving anyone. You're always trying to sell the best person, or the
yeah,
best version of a person in marketing terms. A lot of the time, it's always that perfect example. And I think coming into a space like this where you're worried making a certain decision might
Yeah.
pigeonhole you into a certain area. It's great to kind of show that journey.
Mm.
Is there any particular softwares you use daily that might massively enhance your role that you want to tell our listeners?
Yeah, so definitely from our point of view, we've been up in our game in terms of Google Tag Manager. Because obviously, with the ads that we run, like we, as I said, we don't want to be doing the same stuff every single year. So we need to justify the spend of what we use. So conversion, being able to use conversion tracking and hooking that up in terms of our Google Ads has been a game changer. Where now, when we're running our Google Ads in terms of PPC, display, obviously retargeting on YouTube as well, now that we have conversion tracking kind of linked up to our ads with Google Tag Manager, it's made our lives very easy in terms of reporting that back to senior management, where we can say this ad has specifically brought in this X amount of leads. Because I know, like with the likes of optimizing your ads for clicks, maximizing clicks, that might be good for the long run when we're reporting back and kind of saying, look, guys, we got X amount of clicks, but are they your target audience, or are they audiences that you've been inundating with ads? Do you know? So we really want to be specified in what we do. So Google Tag Manager kind of helps us know, okay, after the negative keywords, after the messaging and positioning, after like uploading the ads, is our ads really working, and is there a way that we can optimize? And you'll only be able to see that once once you're able to see the conversions that the ads are bringing. As well, obviously, like everyone using Google Analytics, and I think everybody's excited for GA4 that's coming. But in terms of using Google Analytics from an event point of view as well, with kind of events and conversions as well, and using it, I kind of use Google Analytics as like a map to kind of show what's working and what's not working. Just in terms of, say, if we're doing international campaigns for a surgical course, we could have a look at Google Ads and say, right, we spent X amount on Facebook, but we're not getting visits from, Bahrain or Saudi Arabia. But then as well, it's hard to kind of justify that now with the whole iOS and GDPR, where you're probably seeing, and a lot of the listeners are probably seeing now in terms of from a social media point of view, the clicks and the impressions the clicks that they're getting from a Facebook campaign point of view is not matching up with the website. So as we always probably need to take a pinch of salt, but generally from a Google Analytics point of view, you'll still be able to see trends of, okay, what certain countries are not coming in terms of bounce rates. Maybe the content is not being widely received in the UK, or maybe, and it shows the emerging markets as well, where you might say, oh look, there's a lot of viewers from Canada who are interested in this certain course or CPD course or postgraduate academic program, and that could be a new market to look at. So it's really, and it's going back to what I was saying to you at the start, this integrated approach where you're not looking at each of these channels and each of these systems as silos, but you're taking a step back and looking, okay, if I'm looking at Google Analytics, how does that affect my ads? If I'm looking at Google Tag Manager, how can I integrate Google Tag Manager with Google Ads? It's looking at it from a holistic point of view to get to your end goal.
Yeah, really good point. Really good point, buddy.
Yeah.
Looking at yourself for a moment, is there
Yeah.
any particular areas you're looking to upskill into, and why?
Yeah. So for me, like I'm big into, so what I'll be going into now, like obviously like I love my campaigns, and I love what I do in terms of the working with the team as well. But product marketing is on my mind. I've been looking at product marketing for the past few years now, past probably 2 years, just in terms of, so my big thing is obviously before even getting to the campaign stage, being able to develop products and making sure we're meeting the needs of our audiences before we go out to sell, before we go into campaigns. Because when you talk about marketing and you talk about promotion is just a cog about marketing. So marketing is, it's soft skills, it's engaging with people, it's finance, it's being able to understand the product in terms of product price promotion, and being able to bring a product that's going to be widely received. My big thing is, if we have a product that's not being widely received and we're told to sell it, it's just, it's a recipe for disaster. So for my thing is being able to line the messaging position, speak to our audiences and ask them, like, okay, if we're doing this academic program, if we're doing this course, what are the specific modules that you want? Will this enhance your career? So when that's agreed and you're bringing a product to the market that has influence from the target audience you're trying to target, it's a recipe for success. because you already know that from the audience that you're talking to, you have a product that there's a need, so
Yeah,
that's where I'm going into product marketing and being able to understand the market and be the marketer involved in the product development phase, because I
yeah,
think that there's always a need in terms of research and being able to understand the market. But if a marketer's not involved there, decisions can kind of be ramped up, and you can have products that there's no need.
yeah. Really good point. And probably linked to this slightly, is there any big changes you see happening in the industry overall that you're keeping an eye on?
I think with the likes, so it depends on really on the audience. I can talk about like TikTok and stuff like that, but it really depends on the industry you're in and the audiences. For me, I'm seeing, and it's probably controversial, where we're seeing kind of lead gen is slowly and surely dying, and that's probably because of GDPR and iOS. But if you think about it now, like from our kind of performance from all our products, we can see it clearly that leads are dying, but performance is increasing and numbers are doubling. So if the final numbers are increasing, but lead gen is dying, it's showing you a few things and showing you that probably a more tailored, targeted approach is better. I'd rather have 25 leads than 50 leads if I knew them 25 were going to convert.
Yeah,
So it's the likes of having, and it goes back to the customer journey, like we're really pushing on the CRM and being able to integrate the CRM with the website, which is working wonders. Where once you sign up to one of our academic programs, we have tailored journeys for each of our academic programs for each of our audiences. So if you're interested in, I don't know, the Master in Surgery by module or Advanced Clinical Practice or one of our CPD courses, you're now put on a CRM journey, and it's giving you information not in a way that's too much. It's like apply now. But you're getting nurtured about, the USPs of the program, the modules, the supports that we have. You might get an email about an online event, a drop-in clinic we're having in a few weeks. But by doing that, you're engaging with the audiences earlier and you're making them feel that they're already on the program before they're even paid, because
yeah,
that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build kind of great experiences. So, as I was saying, when I say I'd rather 25 leads than 50, I really mean it, because we know with the 25 leads, the high chance of us converting a lot of them is high,
yeah. Really well said. Really well said, Tevin.
Yeah.
And we always end the show with the same question, which is, if you could bottle up one personality trait that you have yourself that you could pass on to others, what would it be?
I think really when you think about marketing, it's a 50-50 split, I'll say, in terms of the creativity of marketing and then the psychological element of marketing and having the foundation. So I always say this: you could be a great creative marketer but have no foundation, or you could be very analytical marketer that has the foundation, has the psychology, but you're not creative. And it's okay, there's different marketers in different kind of fields, But I think you have to agree with yourself what type of marketer I am. So with me, I'm kind of 50-50, where obviously I take the creativity, but I'm very big on the foundation and having the cogs and being understanding what I need to do in order to implement the creativity, because if you don't have the solid background, if you don't have the solid foundation, it's hard. Anyone can be creative. That's fantastic. But if you're creative with no solid background in marketing in terms of the cycles, the fundamentals, you know, it won't. Will I say it won't work? No, because things work. But it's a case that there's a higher chance of success if you have the analytical and the foundation part as well as the creative part. And if you don't have the creative part, it's okay as well, because at the end of the day you're working in a team, and it's good to kind of say, look, I don't have this, but this person will have this type of skill. So it's understanding that marketing is not only creativity, but it's not only having the foundation as well. It's a bit of both, and understanding where you sit in them fields.
Yeah, really well said. Like, that's a brilliant way to end the show. Tevin, thank you
Uh,
so much for being on the show.
no
Thank
problem.
you for sharing your insights, buddy. And yeah, if anyone wanted to reach out to you, how could they get in contact with you?
Yeah, so obviously my LinkedIn is Tevin Farid. We're not hiring at the moment, but sure you can keep in touch, and yeah, just good to connect as well. But yeah, really, really probably my LinkedIn, Tevin Farid.